too much that I didn't think if I just opened them up anymore, when they did this, it would look better. Yes, sir.
So when you talked about the orange, the stationary orange, when you first...
The address orange.
The address orange, at impact, where...
Oh, above it. So it would go, here's the orange in the, try to get everybody confused. So here's the orange with the thing in the middle of the orange. You're gonna go like this. You're gonna go like that. It comes back around like this. The point, if you did that, you just did a top of the backswing orange, address orange, top of the backswing orange, orange when it gets back to the line that goes through the first orange, and orange at impact, and then you put a dot in the middle of the orange. The dot goes around the orange, goes around the other dot. The dot goes around the other. Yeah.
Are you saying that when you make a good backswing?
Yeah.
Are you intentionally going down?
Yeah.
Like
I teach, absolutely. I teach it, yes. I hate steady hand. I don't even know what that.
How do you go down? How do you?
Well, I think you push off and you start translating, and your left shoulder, you keep, it's a really big deal for good players to keep the left shoulder down long enough so that when you jump, you have something to jump with. If the left shoulder's already up at that point, which a lot of good players do, that swing too far right, it's like, they gotta just, like Ben said, you just gotta sit there and wait so that you have something to hit it with. So keeping that left shoulder down is big, but I would have never, I taught people to get that left shoulder out, to be honest with you.
Hey, Brian.
I should refund a lot of money. Yes, sir.
On swing catalyst from about P4 to P7, where do you see where the weight is from about P4 to P7 going from right foot to left foot?
So from the top to impact?
Yeah.
So, again, by the time, now, this is just the center of pressure. Center of pressure.
Right.
Is going to go right, only going to start moving at the very top, but really stays over there because the vector changes a bunch from halfway back to here, but it doesn't give you a vector. One day maybe on the 3D plate. And then it gets left by, what is this, 5?
Yeah.
I don't use the numbers because I don't advertise for other people's companies. Still big deal. If it works, I can kind of count it out, and then I'll be familiar with it the rest of the day. I know this is more red counting. So.
Brian, on catalyst, when you
no, just so people know, because there's something about catalyst. So there's 2 swing catalysts. There's just one that has center of pressure, and there's one that has all kinds of stuff. So you're talking about just the pressure?
No, like you're using a SAM balance?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you talk about this move here,
yeah.
Como talks about the foot torquing this way.
Yeah.
Are you talking more of a full foot shift into this way? Or are you saying
you're twisting out on the right foot to get over there.
So you're seeing that directionally, how the pressure shifts as it moves over from the feet. You're not seeing like equal on this foot, whole foot to whole foot. Does that make sense? Like where they're lit up in colors, right? If you've got all of it down through this foot, is it a complete shift this way, or do you see it more move in a motion? You have no idea?
I'm not pretending to. I don't know. I'd have to look at more. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just curious how you.
This is like Mike Jacobs has got a swing. They're trying to put individual foot. All the stuff I've talked about with ground reaction force vectors, it's like combined effect. Because when you're telling somebody, especially in this setting, you're telling somebody what to tell somebody. They're telling that they're teaching a shift, then they're probably teaching center of pressure movement. If they're teaching no shift, they need to know that the center of pressure is moving anyway.
I'm just curious if you use that as a measurement of how you have them shift as you're learning.
I don't have a plate, so I don't really have a good answer for that. But I think I can see what y'all saw when I did this. I think I can see that. Even on video, if they're still moving toward the ball when they hit the ball, that ain't any good, even with the iron. So I'll tell you what I mean then. We were talking about Dr. Nesbitt's 3 phases of the swing. Downswing, he would say, basically it's the tangential, the torque phase, and the go normal phase, right? And then to me, this is how I look at it. This is my whole swing, 3 phases of the swing. The pressure, the move away from the ball, because you're moving your pressure this way. The move toward the ball, and the move back away from the ball. Good players are moving away from the ball as they hit it. Bad players get as far left as they're gonna go in impact. And they slide more, the center of pelvis, which is 3D shows up, and they slide more, late shifters slide more than early shifters, because Happy Gilmore, he's an early shifter, he can't go any further forward, he's toast. He's gotta go, well, bam, hit ball, right? But somebody who wasn't there yet, and the ball's over there, they have to keep going that way. Does that make any sense? So I the move toward the ball and the move away from the ball, which I think, I don't say I invented that, but I like the idea of it. You know, people think they're supposed to be moving toward the ball when they hit it, and it shows up on this puppy is way, way down. Way down. Who's my first victim? I'm gonna save you, because this drive will be fun. I'm Brian. Oh, you got the right last name to this day. So you see, just so y'all folks get different angles, going green flag, and behind the green flag from the straight on view, they got that little sign in the background. And then there's a golf cart parked there. I don't know if that's going to help y'all that much. TrackMan will tell us to the foot how far off line it is. So when you rake it onto the board, just grab it with the top of the club. It makes it easier, and you just put it in a little nipple, fire away. So somebody asked me when we first were talking today, go ahead, do I just look at the numbers and change the numbers, or do I? But what I'll do a lot of times for funsies, I know I don't. I mean, I have to look at it this way. And no, you don't worry about me. Just hit it. I'm just yapping. Just made me yap all damn yap. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have somebody hit a couple balls, and I will not watch it. It's like a little research project. I just want to see if I can kind of get a flavor for the numbers versus what I'm going to see when I see it. I wouldn't suggest you do that unless you're crazy like me. You just want to see if you're any good at looking at numbers and figuring out those. Or just keep hitting. Don't worry about me.
You ever try to look at the golf swing, compare the numbers?
Well, I'm going to look at the golf swing line. So, I mean, I feel like,
You do that first, look at the golf swing and try to see how close you can come to the numbers?
I did that for the first 3 years I had it. I got bored with it. Because everybody thinks, you know, say, well, how good are your eyes? Did you? I got better. Now, do you get perfect? No. I mean, you can't eyeball those numbers. When Sean Foley called me a couple of years ago, you know, before he had a TrackMan, I think I should get one. I said, if you think you can guess Tiger's angle of attack, ball to ball, I'll bankrupt you quick. And the next Tiger's not walking through the door. That was my sales pitch. Big TrackMan, believe it now. So I can look at these numbers. Now, some of these lessons, I'll kind of go and tell, you know, but I'll talk out loud in this first one. Wouldn't say this in a lesson, telling you that. His paths were a certain group of paths, 0 and a little left of 0. I say something like, hit it pretty straight. Because I know he ain't hitting no big old push stroke. Put up a 0, 4, a negative, and the 0, 3 left, 2.3 left, 0, 9 left. So he's hitting a little baby cut, probably when he plays good, or he hits it pretty straight. A lot of good players that actually hit a cut think they hit it straight. They hit it pretty straight? They hit it pretty straight. All right with a fairway wood? Yeah. So, guys who swing inside out, girls too. People who swing inside out are usually horrible fairway wood players because you can't get the ball. Or you get the guy, the girl, swing 8 degrees inside out with a 6-iron, and you'll say, how are you with the fairway wood? Best club in my bag. Well, because they figured out they swing 8 degrees inside out with a fairway wood, they can't get it airborne, and they get on top of it a little bit. So go ahead. So tell me a little bit about your game.
I hit it fairly straight. I don't hit it far.
Don't take too much of a divot, right? Medium? A little bit?
You just play a little bit of a draw, actually.
Wow. We are going to this green flag. I do that a lot in my lessons because you gotta laugh. If you don't laugh, this is the wrong business to be in.
Ooh.
I think they gave me a standard line. I was hoping for one. That turned over. TrackMan has an app. We get a front angle view, 5 feet like this. So I walk over here. Well, any view, we got some very interesting views with Kenny yesterday. So I can do this, get a front view, and it sends it to the computer and syncs it to the back view, which is built into the thing. 135 frame a second, high shutter speed camera built into TrackMan. And this isn't even the S. This is 60 frames a second. Pretty good. So come see. So consistently, he put up left pass. And he says, you know, I'm trying to hit a draw. You're going to struggle to hit that draw with that left pass. Right? There's the front view. I'll generally look at the rear view of the swing a whole lot more than I look at the front view. But I like to look at the front view a little. And now that I have the little app that I can do it, I can kind of get an idea of his impact hand location and body location when he gets over. You know, it's 60 frames a second. It's pretty good. And then look at it down the line. So I tell people, if you don't know, like a lot of these I'll do, you know, these things like we're doing today, I'll do for like apprentices and stuff. And I'll say, hey man, if you don't know where to start in a lesson, especially if you're teaching with radar, spitting numbers out on every swing, start somewhere. But I think a pretty good place to start here is trying to hit a draw. He's got a left pass. Let's see if we can do it. Again, just to review, 1.7 left, 1.4 left, 5 left, 2.5 left, 3 left, 2.3 left, 0.9 left. Not going to draw at the target unless he hits it on the toe, and then it's not going to be any good. So, take that green flag. See you set up what you can just high, maybe just get in here. Go ahead and make a backswing. Someplace, the numbers will change, or they won't change. That's it. Yeah, go ahead. I don't have to pick these balls.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, year that Olympic U.S. Open year, we're going to do it again. Make a backswing. Down a little bit. Twisting and shredding. I did these things for Sports Illustrated Golf magazine called Sports Illustrated the Majors. They watched a bunch of guys and girls do it at the Masters, and they said, Brian, can you do it by yourself with the other three? Because I work fast. So I did it. And interestingly, yeah, a little bit of that. Interestingly, had a lot of like really new golfers. So I did like a little like, yeah. I fixed the grip 0.1 right. Just saying, not bragging. Right? I think, you know the grips you're gonna see, right? Y'all done the supermarket, go teachers, right? Dick's Sport good lessons, right? Look like this. Right? Good grip. Didn't tell him anything about this one. So I said, man, this is an opportunity for a lifetime. I get to do it. Where are you going to get these 625? I didn't know I was giving that many. How about it outside? So anyway, get to the top of the swing. So I'm doing two things here. I'm changing the gamma, that's the twist of the shaft, and I'm also giving them a little of that at the same time. Just turning the foot base off the plane a little bit. You know, because you were kind of going, yeah, and then if you swung inside out, you hit that crazy ball, you hit it. And they got people, good ones. So here's one I used a million years ago. I haven't done this in a seminar in 3 years. Get to the top. Wouldn't use it on him. Doesn't need it. Right. I'd use it on the student. Get to the top, make the first 2 feet of your down. Whoa, that's a big 2 feet. But that's good. Leave it. Nothing up my sleeve. On the sweet spot and say, now give me the next 5 or 6 inches. Slicers, slide right off of my finger. So, turn that face like this and drag me all the way to the ball. Drag me all the way to the ball. Look like a golfer now. Your hand dragging. You're about to lose me. That's good.
That was all star.
Let's try it again. Get to that same spot. I haven't used that one in a regular lesson in like a year. And you get expensive, you don't have to give 20 handicappers for my lesson. So here you go right here. Hold on. You put way too much force on that grip. Twist me more and pull on it less. Don't pull, you pull way too much. You don't need all that. You don't need all that. You don't need all that. Oh, just hold me. Now, don't pull so much on the handle. Just walk me to the ball with a little pivot. You do that, you won't swing left-handed. I promise you that. I call that twist away. I call that lag in the sweet spot.
Hey, Brian, what was his face to path early when he was what was his face to path?
Well, dude, go ahead and do it before it wears off.
Okay.
Now I get to oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it wears off.
absolutely.
0-3 path. This is easy to teach. Okay, so, what was the question?
What was his face to path before you did that?
All I had to do was fix people like you. I wouldn't have it here. Wait, hold on. So hold on. Wait. You can't hit no more. Much fun as that is. Face the path. Open 0.2. Open 7.5. Close 7.5. Open 11.7. That must have been that one. Close 8.2. So in a good player, trying to hit a draw. Think about this. He ain't trying to hit a draw because he's never hit a draw. And if you made him hit a hook on purpose, I bet you can hook him on purpose. That might go wrong, right? So it was all over the place. It wasn't just like a straight up 4 open to them. You know, it was just all over. So it was the number that jumped off the page. But they do it one more time. Another way to do it, if you don't want to lick your finger and put it on somebody's sweet spot. Didn't sound the greatest. Hold on right here. To the top. I'll never talk at a national teacher. Come on down. You can do it like this, right? And it still kind of okay. Just keep that going at the ball, right? And like you can almost give him a little toe open and torque, and he just holds that toe on there. You can do it like this, right? Try to close the toe a little bit more by twist the angle. Yeah, do it. One more time like that. So, if he 0-1 path, face was closed, right? Because I'm giving him face closed. At some point, the face is going to close. It closed, right? Now, he wanted to hit a draw. I fixed his path enough. David Thompson's path now, right? He can buy a city if he wants to. But he wanted to hit a draw. So let's just say he wasn't comfortable. Just say, but my path is 0. What kind of shot am I going to hit a draw there? In the left bunker. Yes, sir. You're going to hit a draw. So here's what I would do to get the path to go right. Go ahead and set up. Take a backswing. Now, I want you to give me a little bit of that in slow motion, and I'm going to do something with your body, okay? As we shift, you're going to keep your belly point to the right of John O'Taylor. Do it again. That's it. I don't know about all that stuff. Just, no, you're doing too much. Don't guess. I get paid to do it. So all I'm doing is taking his top of the backswing position, not letting him tilt or anything like that, and just taking this to the ball. That's a gross position he's in right there. I would never suggest that golf position to anybody. He did that, I didn't do it. Right? This is golf right here, right? This is golf. Now we got something, right? Okay, so you do that because it looks better on video. Because there's gonna be people on the internet saying this guy is Okay, get to the top of the swing. Pose better for me now. And see, all I'm doing is just, that's what you want to do. So if you can get to that left foot without taking any of that hip turn, or even there in the air, you can do some good. Nice and smooth, a little smoother than.
Wow.
So we had, a bunch of left pass, left pass, left pass, left pass. Got the 0-1 pass. We give them this 4.3 to the right.
All right.
Yes, sir. There's a question. Yes, sir.
You're gonna probably, or what I usually do is I feel you're gonna probably have to tell him how to correct his miss now, because what he thought he was missing.
Oh yeah, no.
now-
Oh, there's all kind of stuff, but he's fixed. He sit down.
Because now every time
No,
his
he's
pass
got it.
goes up,
He's got it. He's got the hip move. So now, and you can mitigate. Right, here's what you're gonna have to mitigate. You're gonna have to, at some point, if he did those two things. Good question. He's got a new miss. If he does this in spades and he does this in spades, it's going. And now he knows how to do this, so he sees the ball doing this. He does this more, his path goes further up.
Yeah.
So let's just say you came back in a week and said, Brian, I played every day. Great. How'd you do? First day, okay, some good ones, some bad ones. Second day, lowest score at 5 years. I thought, that's it. I'm quitting my day job. I'm going back to chase the minis. By the end of the week, I was snap hooking him. Okay, so if he did that in spades, go ahead. I'll show you the last piece of the puzzle. At the top of the swing. Let's say he's got, without losing all his leg, he's got some twist away. He's got some translation without unwind. As he gets down here into the ball, he's going to need this to open up and to jump. He's going to have to jump. And I just pushed him, and it was very obvious to me he hadn't done that in a while. So I would have to get him to do it, but I want to do it with somebody else. Okay? But if you need some more help after, I'll be glad to help.
Hey, Brian.
Okay? Let's do some questions on that. Yes, sir.
Does his feet aiming over there have anything to do with?
Okay.
No. Okay.
I mean, at some point, if you swing it to the right and I see his feet way to the right, I'm going, hey, you might want to not cheat your feet. And I mean, at this point in a lesson, he's the happiest person in America. And I'm just going to say, let's just kind of keep this up, because he couldn't really pose and twist away the way I wanted to. I don't want the guy, go pro, pose in this position. Where did you get that from? It's Italian guy, Brian Manzella. So the guys who saw me teach at Costa Mesa, I am huge on Brian's rule of teaching number 17, which is, I don't know about those numbers, but it's number 17, I know that. Student can't be too much better than their ability to pose. So I would be now, we put two major things in. I would get him to be able to go pose and look like a golfer. That's all I wanted him to look like in the first place. But I would, until I was satisfied with his pose, I didn't care if it was Kenny Kim, who was probably a +6, or we taught a couple of, Allen's little girls that, just single digit if they play good. They're gonna go practice what I'm telling them to do. So if they can't pose it, we got a problem in the after they leave it, right? Now, if you babysat them all the time, it'd be one thing. But I would work, the next thing I would do in that lesson, I would make him be able to pose it as if he was gonna be the one that was taking the pictures from my magazine article on Fixture Slice with 2 moves, twist away and back and in. It would be a good article. Yes.
Speaking of which, posing, did you have a model you might consider, like Sergio Garcia or
No.
Ben Hogan?
No.
No model.
No.
It depends.
The last two lessons I gave on Sunday was how good a player was that first guy? You know, John.
He said he was once like a 2 or 3, and he's kind of dipped a little bit in performance by 8 handicap, which is pretty good.
He was a good player, right, by our normal teaching standards. He needed a kind of a fade pattern, and Kenny needed a little baby fade pattern, and they were fade patterns coming out of the same teacher, and they were nothing alike. And I pride myself on it. I can't stand people who give the same golf lesson to everybody. It makes me ill. Look at my right arm, folks. I got 9 anchors in there. That's my external rotation. Does anybody think I'm laying this club down a bunch? Look at my belly. I haven't broken a sweat in 16 weeks. You think I'm going to make Tustin Johnson's backswing? You got to know what you're dealing with. And a Hall of Fame is filled with all these beautiful swings. Here's what I tell the people when I do these. If you go get this haircut, I grew it out, it was pretty long. It looks horrible, but I'm trying to hide the fat. If you go to a supercut, no offense to supercuts, you can show them a picture in a magazine, or they'll ask you, how you want your haircut. And I'll say, I like the short, I like the sides a little shorter. And even a good one, even a pretty good one, like the girl I go to, she's good. But I mean, at first, what do you want? Okay, I want my hair shorter on the sides and back. I want it kind of square because I have a big old blockhead, and if you make it round, I look like Bert Convy, and I kind of like to do this, other than I didn't think she forgot, but that's the haircut she gave me. Now it's evolved into something else. That is not how it works at the high levels of people who cut hair. You go there, you give them your $400, and you shut up, and they make you look good. Now, I'm not saying that I don't listen to what my student wants. They have no idea what they want. They've never done it right in the first place, 99% of the time. And most of the good players, there's a lot of good players now, 80% of what I'm doing is teaching them out of things they were taught into. And then they go, well, that's how I used to hit it when I was 17. Why'd you stop? Well, I went to this famous teacher and he said, I wanted to play. So, custom patterns, different for everybody. But I like certain golf swings. I think basically you're going to get, swings are kind of going to group in 3 categories. They're going to group on the Nicklaus, Tom's, Calcavecchia side, relatively erect posture, relatively what I call up-the-wall backswings, fairly upright, on top of it all the way down, under it late, pretty flat to arch left wrist through the ball, late flickers, flicking but a little later. Nicklaus still had his left wrist in a lot of pictures like this right here. Generally hit a straight ball and a little cut. They can draw it if they have to. I think Nicklaus had basically a draw pattern. He had a fade out. That was a drill I did yesterday. Good player drill. There's a lot of this going on these days. I really don't like it. This finish. I despise it. I can't stand it. Phony baloney. Sexy or not. Can't stand it. Stupid. Ridiculous. Where did it come from? Comes from the old players. Really. They played the 1986 Masters on TV a couple years ago. Because, it was like an anniversary Nicklaus. Everybody finished like that. The entire tournament looked like this. Now everybody looks like this. So what I did with Kenny is I had him try to, he was finally hitting his cut. But I didn't want him to feel like he had to try to do it with his hands and arms. So I told him, I want you to finish down your back like Big Jack and still cut it. It's harder to do than you think. And it's a good player drill. Don't know why I went up that road. Oh, okay, 3 different kinds of swing. So you got those guys. Then you've got the obvious other end of the spectrum, Ricky Fowler, Sergio Van Hogen, little flatter going back, laid down early, bunch of lag. The good ones dump the lag more than the other ones. The first ones don't have that much lag, and they kind of like this. And then the other ones have a whole bunch of lag, and they tumble and dump it up. And then the people in the middle, Louis Usai, like the kind of classic model golf machines called double shift, just normal setup, not flat, not upright, not early laid down, grossly lagged, laid down at some point, normal exit, normal finish, not down the back finish, not, it's actually a P10, free country, so somebody tells me that. I just don't have any success with it. When I started seeing it creep in, I think it's phony. Here's one of the things I use. If somebody is doing this, and how many of these people do we see? So I'm gonna do that in slow motion, you know.
You don't have to see a lot of those.
I like that though. It's on video, it's on the internet. I am kind of goofy, y'all figured out. Somehow, I have the reputation as I'm the guy who stands up on top of that glass table, jumps up and down and says, I'm better than all of y'all. Ah. But I never really do that. I do that a lot. I do that a lot. Where was I? Please don't remember. They do that. Right? So, when the shaft of the club is parallel for the last time, I like to see it pointing at the target. Who's the most famous finisher like this in history?
Arnold.
Palmer. You go look at any of that stuff of Palmer's on YouTube when he was strong as brutally strong as an ox. Here, right, and this was all like just way after. Rory McIlroy. At that point, that the butt of that club is pointing right. I think when you start trying to do this, you start doing it a little early. I like to see that club here, there, and then it can kind of do some. And a lot of, regular golfer, mini slicers or poorly cured slicers, you can teach them to point the butt of the club and get the thumb underneath the club at that point and fix a lot of people for free. Next victim.
Just quickly, Brian.
Yes.
Never slice again, never hook again. Two of your videos. Is that one of the foundation things of never slice again right there?
So I've done 8 videos myself, turn the camera on, talk. Pretty good. I'll reshoot them all this year when the shoulder heals. So never slice again, never hook again. So never slice again pattern would be, and I would teach it a little different now, would be a really weak grip to force a person to learn to twist the club so it doesn't get too open. Let them twist it a bunch in the downswing without letting it get too closed, and trying to full roll swivel with wedding ring up so that they don't chicken wing reverse swivel it anymore, and then gradually move them to a normal grip and a normal position right here. A little more flatter shoulder turn, a little more leg, a little more hit the box. Never hook again is David Tom's pattern that I stumbled on one day and then taught it back to David. Because he was taught way out. Just basically very much like, okay, so the never slice again pattern, you would take somebody's left hand, put it on the club, have them square up and attach their right arm, that kind of K position. Never hook again pattern, or really just most good players, I say like a Hogan, have it like you have your club up your right arm at the dress and then connect your left arm. That's kind of what I see the best players do. And then, so up the wall, there's a wall right here, up the wall. Obviously it comes in from the wall. Then the feeling is, don't do this. Try to come straight back down the wall, and open up and up, and swing left. And then through the ball, big deal on having these 3 balls kind of in a circle. Hips, hands, club. Never hook. And then playing board like this. Right? Oh, this is perfect right here. What you do is,
I can tell that.
you put hey, talk about one every minute. I probably would be. So you got a nice little plane board, and what you're doing, I can eyeball it now. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. You stay on plane and you put the balls on the ground where they would see the balls. Where they would see the balls on a curve if they went up a board here. And it's really far left of where they ever dreamed if they're swinging 2 inside out. And you have the balls there, and because I taught at a lot of driving ranges in my life, now I'm at a bigger school. I don't teach any better because the course is nice. Driving ranges a lot of times have yellow golf balls, so I put the balls out there and I tell them, follow the yellow brick road. They were swinging like this, right up that yellow brick road. Good players, I'll tell them, I want that club to go underneath that clubhouse, back of the clubhouse. And they go, this far? And I go, yep. That's the two. Soft draw pattern is sort of a hands a little more in, kind of back and tilt like. Maybe cross the line a little bit, lay it down early. A lot of arm swing, take the butt of the club over there. I kind of gave you half of that. That's three like cheater patterns. If you had the three, anybody wants them, send me an email. I'll make you a 50 off deal on them. I went to Australia, two guys, lunchtime, lunch was free. And we would eat lunch, and the guy said, oh, I really feel like I need to owe you lunch. Never met the guy before in my life. The guy says, paid for a couple of cars, but never sliced again. You know, so it's pretty practical stuff. So, lefty? We'll do a lefty in a second. We got another righty?
I'll go.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Is anybody here? Why don't you up there, Chris? Yeah. Yep.
Hey, how you doing? Hey. So I think teaching, you know, on the hour, on the line teaching, like a lot of you folks, girls and guys do, I think it's 80% art. 80. I do it different than I've ever seen anybody do it. If you want to copy me, go ahead, but you're going to be better off copying yourself. But what you're trying to do at the end of the day is changing a motor pattern. The research will tell you ain't easy, A, B, it ain't fun. That's why I'm in so many internet arguments, because learning stuff from the scientists, I'm telling them what they say, it goes against what their little method says, and now we got to fight. So at the end of the day, the best thing you can do in a lesson is make the student comfortable, you know? Just like don't make it such a big deal. Hey man, hit some balls. Like to hit a little draw?
I'd like to.
You like, but do you when you're playing good?
No. I would call pretty straight. Mad?
No, I want the good ones. I want the good ones. You see that last guy in the driving range down there?
It's like 3 degrees out.
The last guy?
Over there?
No, not that guy. Never mind. Hit another. No, don't worry about it. I was talking to the crowd. I was giving them your numbers. I don't want you to know your. So a lot of times.
I'm calling Kimball.
A lot of times people will say, well, Blackman, Manzella, and Big Traymaker, you're confusing people with all those numbers. What numbers did I tell that last guy? He's hit 2 shots. I'm telling you guys the numbers. I'm trying to distract him. I don't want to know his numbers because he's going to start reacting to them. I want a decent subset of his stuff. That's what it does when it doesn't draw. It's kind of a push or not really. Gotcha. He was deeper left. He was deeper left. 0, 5, half, 5 down. The others were 3, 4, 5 degrees inside out and just a little bit down. .1 out, 4 down. So tour average angle of attacks, if you have one of these things or get on one every now and then to do a little. Or I had one for 6 months, James Light bought one right away. He had a little more money than me, piled up. Bought one, I went over there like twice a month. Hugged the hell out. We learned a lot. Okay, here's how you do it. 10 iron. I have those down, they're called gap wedges. 10 iron, 5 degrees down. 3 wood, 3 degrees. 10 iron, 3 wood, 3, 7 iron, 4. And you fill in the rest. That's a 6 iron, that was 4 degrees down, pretty good. 2 path, 0, 0 face. Spin axis was eeny, meeny, miny, mo, 5.7, pretty sweet spot. Do it again. Yeah, it's a little upright for you, I'll fix it. if I don't have enough club?
That was good.
Pretty
Take
good
a bucket
stuff.
of those.
3.3 down, which I think for his swing speed be better. 3 degrees in. So he's in a nice little groove.
Where was that at? What was the OA? You said 3 what?
3 out, 3 down.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'd rather hit balls, but I'm supposed to be teaching. Never stop working on your golf swing. Never stop believing that you can hit it better. One of my junior golfers grew up to be number 2 guy. You know, now you call a number 1 guy like a GM or a director of golf. He was the head pro at Shady Oaks, knew Mr. Hogan, and up until he couldn't do it anymore, he was out working on stuff. Out working on stuff. I mean, these are really good numbers. Really good numbers. Let's look at this. Let's look at this last one, maybe. I think we got to down the line of this one. There we go. I mean, they're really good. You know, I like mid-body hands. Steps on that right leg early. Doesn't turn his shoulders too steep. Doesn't turn them too flat. Push off, great. On his left leg, plenty of time. It's a little south from there. Yeah.
It gets slow.
Yeah, because it just doesn't, it's not dynamic enough to the ball. So, his numbers are good. His numbers are good because he's a good player and he can force the club around. But the thing that's missing is that doesn't quite run up enough, but it's a decent run up. He's left enough. He might not be down enough, but he's left enough. And he has no away from it. So, free with every lesson, if you pay full price. You get the little Italian man to help you. You swing, I help. Regular speed. Regular speed.
Full speed?
Believe it or not. Believe it or not. All shapes, sizes.
Alright.
It's going to take me a while to kind of out. And I figured this out because I had somebody that couldn't do it. And I said, damn it, I'm getting down there and doing it. Oh, I won't get hit. And now I do it pretty much to everybody. You got to watch how you do it with certain people, right? When you're a lady, and you're going to look like this. Or you look over here, and you do like this to move their hip, and you grab their shirt, and you do like this. It's the same thing. I mean, you know.
You never use your thumb?
Nah.
Hey. Can't take it off.
You don't ever use your thumb.
Hey, I'm here all week.
You're all weird.
Yes, sir. So, as I try to get under him and get him to
That's what it
look like a
feels like.
golfer through the ball, there's nothing to move up. He hasn't gone down. So, what that tells me, besides what Arid Extra Dry he used yesterday, is I gotta fix the run up. So go ahead and set up. Tell you what, you set up like this, so they can kind of see.
Okay.
So make your backswing. Slow motion all the way to the ball, Casio style. Okay? Set up again. No, set up again. That was a dress. That was impact. Backswing. Downswing. Yeah, I thought you did that. So that's a little trick I do. Take hand, put it on the shoulder, this, take your backswing. No, you know, you've watched it, so you know about where to put it. It should come back underneath your hand. Let's do it again. I'll move my hand over here now. It should come back under the hand before it goes up. His went right into my hand. And I knew that because when I was down there, I didn't have any ribs to pull. So do it again. Oh, no, I'm sorry, same thing for that. Sorry. It's more graceful in a lesson when you're not talking.
Well,
Okay,
you
so
know,
you to the top.
$400 an hour, probably.
Hey, Dave.
Talk a different lingo.
It's $400 an hour. I'm gonna have somebody else better looking at me do this thing, I promise. Shut down with it. Keep that left shoulder.
Fall over.
Yeah, and I was trying to knock you over because it would have been funny on video. Yeah, see, I do that all the time. Okay, so here's your shoulder,
Yep.
right? Here's your shoulder blade.
Yep.
Give it to me. Oh, no, but I'm just saying, you know, like a golfer. Get to the top. Let's do it again. Do this. No, set up right there. Teaser in the way. Take it back. Do it back. off and get over here nice one. Or back that way. That was better. Doing a bad job explaining. That. I want to see that. And then obviously from there.
So you're
Yeah, a little bit
catching
more.
down.
So you better go the other way when you hit it.
Okay. You want me to feel that?
Sounds good to me.
Well, they're locking. Tell me what it is.
Oh, I think you can do it.
One here.
Yep.
You want here.
Well, without your head going that far forward, look good. Looks really good.
So there.
Yeah, it's 10. So, he has no jump because he would have did it worse with the jump. He now has a run up. He still doesn't have a jump. He sticks the club in there. That's it. So you can actually do that little thing I was talking about. I'll probably move the camera around too much to move it. It's still not as low as you think it is.
Yeah.
So even with all of that rigmarole, I told him, his left shoulder was no better than pretty much back where it was when he got back away. So we got something to work on. Now we got something to work on. What I think you need to do is just say, okay, if my head didn't move too far forward, can I get my left knee closer to my left foot and my left shoulder a little closer to the ball right here? So that I feel like, oh boy, I'm Sergio now. I'm going to stick that club in the ground better.
Get up and out of the way.
The way they explain it to you is the way they want to learn it. If it sounds close enough, yeah. Goodness, that it better myself. Even if you couldn't.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, really, no kids. Good. A little wide, you're a little wide.
You got it?
I think we can. You can get a little ahead of it, right? Those numbers, remember what the regular numbers were? 6-2 down, 3 out. So, when you're teaching this move to somebody, the mitigating factor here is how much can they jump? You can't give them Bobby Clampett's 1982 run-up if you can't do Bobby's jump. You can't do it. So he can probably do about what he's doing right now, just not. And I might go back down there and help him. Just go ahead and do that. I just think he got a little too far forward. The down was good. It was just a little too far forward. Yes, that's great. That's great. Yes. Now when you do that, I feel like your chest turned a little bit more. Your chest back a little bit, that right chest. Much better.
Wow, really nice.
That was. It felt like I went that way and that way.
Now check it out. Do you think he jumped as much as I could help him jump? No. Okay, so that was 4-5 down, a little too much down for him. And 4-5 out, a little bit too much out. So you get the little Italian guy to push on you one more time. I thought that was, by the way, I mean, they saw it was good. It wasn't just because you went straight and all that stuff. You plugged it in, you wasn't running down the fairway too fast.
Ready?
Yeah. Charlie Brown. Okay, I have a bunch of long shots. So sometimes when I'm down there, I just don't do it. Because he knows I was going to push him, so
I was waiting for it.
he jumped a lot. Yeah, go ahead, do it again. Do it. I'm going to do it this time, I promise. I might come down here. Dry cleaner's going to go away. Just more down, and I'm going to push less up. I felt a little more, but not a lot. There you go, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I got a different angle I use on good players. I get this way because the back, the Kenny Kim angle, the back winds up being more important than the around. They can get the around. The regular guy needs more around. 5 down, 3 out, pretty good. Do one more on your own, just so we can verify. So at the end of lessons, what I'm looking for is, does it look like it's something they can lead with? You cannot send somebody down the road on something they can't lead with. And I got time, see? So it's like, okay, go ahead. My next lesson's not hovering. So watch, when you pose that, so now you see how I'm monitoring the pose. When you pose that, I want more of this. I want more, the right shift is here, and I want more of the run-up shift as a transition run-up. I don't want it to be like this and this, because it shouldn't be. It should be more, right? With the club kind of still.
It's a little more dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. A little more down. There you go. I like that. That's it. Very good. Okay, who thinks they hit down on a driver want to learn to hit up on a driver? Get extra points. Just for fun. Who just wants to hit that driver for a period?
Happy Gilmore. Oh, by the way, Les is Happy Gilmore. He did all the swim.
Oh, really?
No, right here. Right here.
Oh. You like my explanation of it? You know, you hit on the left foot, and you still got to hold that on.
I didn't get to use it. He looked like a great athlete.
Right show.
Get a couple tees. Big Bertha Alpha is a little more faded biased than the Big Bertha. Just so you know. I found that out. All my members said, hey, you want to go to the Callaway play? Come back with an Alpha? Yeah, baby, I'm going to get the Alpha. Yeah, the Alpha. Hit the Big Bertha like that. That's what's fun, yeah. Over the green flag toward that little sign. Okay? Trying to face those people so I can tell them what you did. See? La 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 la. Okay.
It's a movie. 3 words.
1.6. He's eating no. That was it, okay? 1.8 down. It's perfect guy. 1.8 down, 2.8 down on the last one. That was a 0 path. I'm gonna look at this face on view real quick. I just want to fool. Hold on 1 second. No, you're fine. Oh, you're fine. Cat's out of the bag. Get down. Lines it up real good. Okay, so, heck no. I want to show you how. You can do it on your own? Hey, yeah, try. Okay, good rule of thumb. Glad you hit that shot. Very good. You get a golfer, this cow, hitting down on the ball. And they hit up on it. They're not losing any ball. Remember that shot that they said Montgomery hit, and that was it? 2 balls? So, that was 11. right? Okay, so go ahead and set up. Just very high. Just like a standard, you know, half above the crown thing. A little wide right there. Too wide. Backswing. Show me those arms moving out of the body. Right. You do that, back. I'm gonna shift you a little. So you can push off a little. And when you do it, and when you get your students to do it, have them rotate the face a little as they do it. You can shift, but you want to be facing the toss. And the face turns down, but you're facing, you're, okay, I'm gonna shoot it now, Shaq, so you're gonna face the shot, right? And just for the sake of, you know, science, right, really do it. Now, that ain't gonna get him hit up on it, that little bit of it, but tossed it up over a shot. Hold on a second. Tell me if it- okay. Okay, folks, it's time to stretch your legs. Come look at it. Right. This is what you're going to see literally 99% of the time. Oh, really? Come see. Come look at it. This is him flying, and we get everybody gets to stretch their legs. It's unbelievable. This is all, especially with somebody who plays all. What happens is because the hand